Hi guys. I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like where I'm at right now after working a 9 to 5 for 2 weeks and not including the training I did. Kind of like a little bit about documenting the process a bit more, just because I talked about it before, but I think that wherever I end up, people may want to end up in the same place, so they can come back and look at these videos and kind of make less of the mistakes I did. I don't know though. I find a lot of successful people, especially online, they are already successful when they start posting content and this kind of stuff, unless the content is their success. And then when they kind of describe how to become successful following what they did, I think there's a lot of confirmation bias where they think back and something that didn't have that big of a part, they just resonate with it and they use it as advice. But I think for this, if I talk through kind of like what my situation is and what my thought process is a little bit while I'm in it, then if I do become, in some people's terms, successful, then other people will know the process, kind of. I don't know. It's yeah, that's just what I think. So kind of where I'm at after working my 9 to 5 for 2 weeks now. It's kind of a difficult place to be, because it's not like I'm still enjoying like learning and the new stuff of the job. Like, it hasn't become boring yet, but I think that it's starting to wear off, like all the new job, like learning and having fun and that. I mean, I still enjoy doing it, but it's not new anymore. It's doing the same thing every day, and doing the same thing every day in any environment can, have an impact. But I think the biggest thing is kind of just the energy it takes out of you. So I feel decently less motivated, and I feel like when I left the finance space, getting a 9 to 5, I wanted to try to become more normal, because I found that I was always chasing something and I could never just enjoy my life. And I was always just chasing more money or this or that. I thought if I got a 9 to 5, it'd be different, but it feels the same. It feels like I'm just chasing the next promotion, or I'm just chasing to get my job done. And it's hard, because on top of always chasing something and not just enjoying life, I find I'm struggling to keep up with friends and people around me, and like just be around family, which isn't easy. And yeah, so I'm still working on solving that, but my kind of plan is just take it one step at a time. Like, I think I'm gonna start trying to play a bit of football again, because I've started to put on a little bit of weight, just not being as athletic as I used to be. Like, I used to have a really high metabolism. I could kind of just eat whatever I want because I was always running around. But now it's I spend a lot of time sitting down and walking and eating, and so I think I'm going to start up football again. And when I say start up football, I mean kicking a football around and at the park, not actually playing a game, because I'm not sure I have time for that. And I'm going to start putting effort into hanging out with friends on the weekend. And another thing that some people think works, other people think doesn't, is therapy. So I thought a lot about it, and I think I'm going to give it a go, because I've chased self-improvement for a long time, but when I see other people, I kind of just see them just genuinely just being who they are and doing what they do, like kind of in certain parameters where you can expect them to be how they will be. And I find that my parameters are, I don't really know who I am, so, and on top of that, my self-image is really low in how I see myself, so those parameters are kind of skewed. So I'm going to be trying out therapy, and it's not like modern therapy. I found someone and I went and talked to them, and it's kind of just someone to talk to, because I find, as I talked about in one of those other videos, delusions versus like actual thoughts or something like that, I talked about it. And it's kind of like how when you don't have a feedback loop and you're coming to conclusions and thinking about stuff, then it can easily turn to a delusion. But I think what a therapist does is it gives you that feedback loop, because obviously you can get that feedback loop with normal stuff with friends and that, but you don't want to talk about like your like trauma or anything with your friends, or at least that's not what me and my friends usually talk about. So I think it's just another person who you can have that feedback loop with and can help you come to healthy conclusions that will end up making you healthier, I guess. So I'm giving that a go. It's kind of funny, 2 weeks into a 9 to 5 and I'm already in therapy, but I find other things have been going better. I'm kind of just talking about the downsides. Like, I'm not as stressed lately, and the people like I dropped out of high school to do digital finance, and so my families and the people around me, their opinions of me isn't very high. And I think getting an actual job, especially one where most of the people I work with have degrees, I think it's kind of nice having a lot of people like no longer look at me as the high school dropout who's in the basement doing stuff on the computer, they never really understood what I did. Honestly, I didn't understand why I did that much either, though, so. But yeah. So, hopefully, it'll all work out. And hopefully I can kind of find a balance with my job where I'm not putting all my time and effort into it, chasing promotions and that or whatnot, but I'm also not just waking up and doing it every day like how most people view a 9 to 5. Yeah. And even working this job, I don't regret dropping out, and I don't regret doing the digital finance, because I obviously took a lot of value from that, or I guess money, and so I'm still benefiting from that. So I don't regret it, but I also kind of stop wanting to. It sounds weird, but I want to stop making progress and just live, you know? Because, like, I just keep trying to make progress, and I'm gonna die one day, and I don't even know when I'm gonna die. I could die, like, tomorrow, I could die in a year, and all that progress, it wouldn't mean that much. So it sounds kind of cringy, but it's definitely more about the journey for me. Except I'm not enjoying the journey, you know? Well, I'm enjoying parts of it, but other parts not so much. So that's just something gotta work on. Something I was thinking about the other night. I was kind of like laying in bed getting that kind of late night motivation where it's like, okay, I like when you're not being stimulated by anything around you and you can just lay in bed and think. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, gives you kind of clarity. And I was just thinking about it, I kind of really wanted to make a video on on this stuff, but it was like 12 a.m. which is something I need to work on is sleep, definitely. But that's pretty much what's been going on with me. I kind of stopped going to the gym, and I started scrolling on Instagram again and just scrolling in general, so I'm gonna give that a break. But I don't know, is that the thing? Like, where do I draw the line between, you know, enjoying my life and self-improvement? Because enjoying my life, it feels like scrolling so I can later on connect with my friends with the reels they've watched and the references they were saying. But also it's kind of like harmful to my self-improvement. So where do I draw the line? But that's just some thoughts. The date is 11th of December 2025. And yeah, that's the end of the video.